morning, mga iskolar ng bayan, members of our esteemed faculty, administrative staff, research extension and professional staff, and members of the UP community in the 8 constituent universities across 21 campuses. This is the UP system-wide opening of academic year 2020 to 2021 online welcome ceremony. I am Professor Maria Angelica D. Abad, AVP for Public Affairs and Director with the Office of Alumni Relations. Together with me to welcome everyone to a different kind of teaching and learning this year in the University of the Philippines. Please welcome the AVP for Public Affairs for Internal Communication and Cultural Programs, Dr. Wendell P. Capili.
Good morning, Rika, and good morning to everyone, including family, friends, grandparents, and extended relatives from all over the Philippines. And for those joining us in other time zones, mabuhay po sa inyong lahat. We are glad that you could join us today via Zoom or via live streaming on TVUP YouTube channel and the UP System Facebook page. 2020 is a year of trials and tribulations, but also a year of triumphs and transformation. UP has survived political upheavals, economic crisis, social unrests, yet UP stands. UP stands for honor and excellence. And despite this pandemic, COVID-19 will not stop the scholar ng bayan from searching for answers, seeking the truth, and serving the country. Ladies and gentlemen, our Board of Regents, UP System and UP officials, our media friends, and our friends in various institutions, thank you all for taking the time to join us in welcoming our freshmen for this academic year 2020-2021. And for our returning students and faculty, welcome back. I would like to acknowledge the following members of the UP Board of Regents: Honorable J. Prospero Idevere III, Chairperson and Chair of the Commission on Higher Education; Honorable Danilo L. Concepcion, President of the University of the Philippines; Honorable Joel Villanueva; Honorable Mark Go; Alumni Regent Reynaldo C. Lacerna; Honorable Francis C. Laurel; Honorable Angelo A. Jimenez; Honorable Arlisa D. Aguiluz; Faculty Regent Ramon G. Guillermo; Student Regent John Isaac B. Punzalan; and Staff Regent Myla R. Pedrano.
We also would like to acknowledge the following: the Chancellor, Fidel R. Demenso of UP Diliman; Chancellor Fernando C. Sanchez Jr. of UP Los Baños; Chancellor Carmencita D. Padilla of UP Manila; Chancellor Ricardo P. Babaran of UP Visayas; Chancellor Melinda Bandalaria of UP Open University; Chancellor Larry N. Digal of UP Mindanao; Chancellor Raimundo Rovillos of UP Baguio; Chancellor Liza Coro of UP Cebu; and Dr. Gerardo Legaspi, Director of the Philippine General Hospital. Again, thank you very much for your presence to formally kick off our academic year in a virtual ceremony. We'll be acknowledging more people during the course of the program.
Today marks a new chapter in the university life of our students and faculty. Gone are the days of long lines to sign up for classes, groups of students in their tambayans, or physical research presentation and faculty conferences. Leading the university in this time of great change, he has galvanized all the university's resources to answer the nation's call to fight COVID-19 and to provide the faculty and students much-needed support for education in the new normal. To give the welcome message, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the President of the University of the Philippines, Professor Danilo Atizabal Concepcion.
Sa mga mag-aaral ng Universidad ng Pilipinas, tanggapin po ninyo ang isang maalab na pagbati sa inyong pagpasok sa ating mahal na pamantasan upang ipagpatuloy ang pag-aaral. Malaking panahon ang nawala sa ating semestre, panahong inukol natin sa paghahanda sa pagharap sa mga bagong pangangailangang dulot ng pandemyang COVID-19. Ito ang pinakamabigat na hamon na hinaharap ng inyong henerasyon. Marami sa ating mga hanay ang nalagas na ng pandemyang ito. Ating kinikilala at pinasasalamatan ang kanilang kabayanihan, ang kanilang paglilingkod sa sambayanan hanggang sa kanilang huling hininga. Nagpasya tayong ipagpatuloy ang ating pagtuturo at pag-aaral sa gitna ng pandemya sapagkat batid dating ito ang tamang hakbang ang tamang sagot sa pandemya. Isa itong mariing pagpapatibay sa ating kakayahan bilang Pilipino na manaig sa anumang kahirapan at pagsubok. Maging sa panahon ng pangalawang pandaigdigang digmaan, nanatiling bukas ang UP at ang PGH upang magbigay serbisyo sa mga taumbayan. Bilang pambansang pamantasan, bilang National University, tinitingala tayo ng iba pang mga paaralan upang magsilbing gabay at sulo sa panibagong panahon ng karimlan. Ang hamon ay hindi lamang sa ating katapangan, kung hindi sa ating katalinuhan, sa ating kakayahang gamitin ang ating dunong at kaalaman upang maabot ang ating mga pinakamalayo at pinakamahirap na mag-aaral. Makakaasa kayong gagawin natin ang lahat sa abot ng ating kakayahan na maiparating sa bawat estudyante ang mga course packs o materyales na kanilang kakailanganin. Hindi ninyo man personal na makikita ang inyong mga propesor at kaklase sa campus, patuloy pa rin ang ating ugnayan sa pamamagitan ng ating mga virtual learning environments gaya ng Uvle, Canvas, Google Classroom, Edmodo at iba pa. Natitiyak kong magkakaroon ng mga problema at aberya sa mga darating na araw. Iparating po sana natin ito sa mga kinauukulan at hahanapan natin ng karampatang lunas o solusyon. Kakailanganin natin ang lubusang pangunawa at kooperasyon mula sa lahat, guro, estudyante, administrador at kawani, sapagkat maninibago tayong lahat sa prosesong ito. May mga magkakamali, may mga magkukulang, may mga bagay na hindi agad-agad maibibigay o matutugunan. Subalit hanggat nagkakaisa tayo sa ating paniniwala at paninindigan na hindi dapat magtagumpay ang pandemya na igupo ang pag-aaral at pagtuklas ng talino, makahahanap tayo ng paraan at mananaig ang sulo ng karunungan sa ating mga takot at pangamba. Ngayon naman ay nais kong bigyan ng espesyal na pansin ang ating mga freshmen sa lahat ng ating mga constituent university. Alam kong hindi ito ang uri ng pagbati at pagtanggap na inyong inaasahan nang kayo'y pumasa sa UPCAT at mag-enroll sa UP. Tila inagawan kayo ng pagkakataong makaapak sa luntiang damo ng inyong mga campus na makipagkilala sa inyong mga bagong kamag-aral at kumaripa sa pagitan ng inyong mga classrooms. Hindi kailanman mapapalitan ng Zoom o ng Google Classroom ang karanasan ng buhay sa campus. Sana tanggapin na lamang ninyo ito bilang makasaysayang hamon. Ito ang magiging tatak ng inyong henerasyon, kayong mga nag-aral at natuto sa kabila ng pandemya. Isaisip natin na pansamantala lamang itong ating pinagdadaanan ngayon at ang inyong kalusugan at kapakanan muna ang ating isa sa alang-alang. Manatili sana tayong malusog sa isip at pangangatawan upang sama-sama nating magamit ang ating karunungan sa ikaliligtas at ikagiginhawa ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Sarado pa man ang karamihan ng ating mga gusali, bukas po naman ang UP bilang isang institusyon para sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay at marami pong salamat.
Thank you very much, President Danilo Latizabal Concepcion, for your very inspiring message. We would like to acknowledge the Vice Presidents of the University of the Philippines, beginning with Executive Vice President Teodoro J. Erbosa, Vice President for Academic Affairs Maria Cynthia Rose B. Bautista, Vice President for Planning and Finance Lisa Grace S. Bersales, Vice President for Administration Nestor G. Yunque, Vice President for Development Elvira A. Zamora, Vice President for Public Affairs Elena E. Pernia, Vice President for Legal Affairs Hector Dani D. Uy, and Secretary of the University and of the Board of Regents Attorney Roberto M. J. Lara. You serve as inspiration to all our ISCO and ISCA.
Being a proud ISCO or ISCA, We have a high regard for our shared history and high hopes for our common future. To give a quick backgrounder on the University of the Philippines, please watch this short video produced by TVUP, the Internet Television Network of the University of the Philippines.
Since late February 2019, this has been the site that greets campus goers entering UP Diliman through the University Avenue. The newly restored fountain and reflection pool at the Oblation Plaza in front of Quezon Hall. Yet, to long-time members of the UP community, students, faculty, staff, and alumni alike, the fountain is a small fragment of UP's past, a graceful memory brought back to brighten our days once more. Through the tireless efforts of the members of its community of scholars, unified under a strategic plan that has made contributing to national development through knowledge creation and public service its goal, UP continues to move upward, onward, and forward. Each of UP's 8 constituent universities and its 21 campuses spread across the country continues to physically grow, modernize, and transform. This growth has received a significant push through the signing on September 6, 2018, of a Memorandum of Agreement between UP and the Department of Public Works and Highways to implement infrastructure development projects in the UP campuses. This covers a total of 20 projects worth over 2.76 billion pesos. 12 projects in UP Diliman, 3 in UP Los Baños, 1 each in Manila, Cebu, Visayas, and Mindanao, and 1 off-campus facility in Puerto Galera. And finally, some major infrastructure development completed or currently ongoing under the full support and supervision of the UP system as a commitment to creating an environment that sustains 21st century learning, knowledge creation, and public service for society and humanity. UP has also invested much in the health and well-being of its constituents through major infrastructure development projects, as well as in the kind of environment it needs to undertake and support comprehensive sports programs and uphold excellence and encourage competitive participation in sports. Aside from sports and fitness, health and wellness are also in the forefront of infrastructure development. In UP Diliman, the Epsilon Chi fraternity of the College of Engineering turned over the Epsilon Chi Center, a health and fitness facility that features a basketball court that can also be used for other sports activities and events, a gym, and several commercial shops. And for a key infrastructure development project, the UP PGH Diliman, a funding worth 50 million pesos, has been allotted for the conduct of a feasibility study under the NEDA, and 100 million pesos for the generation of a detailed architectural and engineering designs and plans. The initial phases of construction for the PGH Multidisciplinary Research and Training Hospital to service Diliman and Northern Metro Manila is anticipated to begin in 2020. Cognizant of its mandate as a national university, UP takes the lead as a teaching university, a graduate and research university, a public service university, and as a regional and global university. for the school year 2018 to 2019, new general education courses were rolled out that would capture 4 broad themes established by a UP System General Education Council. These new courses focus on learning outcomes and feature student-centered instruction. The design of the courses is also anchored on the education framework established by the UNESCO International Commission on Education for the 21st Century. UP breakthroughs in SNT include the following. The UP system continues to bring the arts and culture closer to its community and the public by hosting free performances. In line with its mandate to serve as a regional and global university, the UP maintains 365 active bilateral and multilateral academic agreements with other higher education institutions, along with special arrangements with Harvard University. More than 20 of UP's partner HEIs belong to the top 100 universities based on the QS World University Rankings in 2018. UP is more than just a haven for intellectual and artistic pursuits. It is also a public service institution and a caring home for its community of faculty, students, staff, and alumni. One direction taken in the past year is to focus on transforming UP into a nurturing and healthy university. UP's sustained efforts toward improving its teaching and pedagogy, its research, environment and output, internationalization efforts, and public service initiatives have borne fruit in its performance in recent world university rankings. The past year has been marked by breakthroughs, outstanding achievements, and history-making as UP's faculty, students, staff, and alumni continue to demonstrate the hallmark of UP honor and excellence harnessed in the service of the nation and humanity. Aside from awards and accolades, the year has also been rich with milestones of various UP units and the members of the UP community. Finally, the year 2018 gave us the incredible story of a UP community coming together as one to rally behind a team, ignite the UP spirit to greater heights, and dream of victory once more. For the first time in 32 years, the UAAP Basketball Championship was not just a hazy dream for the UP community. It is helping shine the light upon the plight of the other varsity sports teams across the UP system, the young men and women who toil and train and struggle and win despite the odds. It is giving us not only hope, but also a feeling of certainty that our dream of winning a UAAP championship is within our grasp. It is the story of what the UP community working as one can achieve. And it is the story of what UP must do. Move ever upward, ever onward, and ever forward.
Thank you, TVUP, for giving us an extensive overview of the University of the Philippines, a teaching university, graduate university, research university, and a public service university. Moving ever upward, onward, and forward.
Our next speaker had a vision to shift to blended learning modalities even before COVID-19 hit the country. To give the opening remarks, please welcome the UP Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Maria Cynthia Rose Banzon Bautista.
Pangulong Concepcion, mga opisyal ng iba't ibang CU ng Universidad ng Pilipinas, mga kasama sa kaguruan at hanay ng mga reps at administrative staff, at higit sa lahat, mga minamahal naming mag-aaral sa graduado at di-graduadong antas. Isang magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. I join President Concepcion in welcoming you back to the university. This semester is extremely challenging for our faculty members and the staff that support them. For you, our students, and for the administrators here who have been engaged in many unprecedented balancing acts. Between, for instance, the interests of students in need of slots to meet program requirements and graduate in a timely manner, and faculty members who need lower teaching load and smaller class sizes. Between the interests of disciplinary programs that find it difficult to deliver their programs for students asynchronously or remotely in their last year, and those that can. Between faculty members in disciplines that demand course packs with detailed study guides and those that do not need as much detail. We have met some of you in the student town hall meetings in late June and early July, when we consulted you on whether to postpone the opening of classes to September 10 or to resume in August, as the Board of Regents instructed us to do, before it finally approved the September 10 opening and the modified calendar. We laid out some of the academic plans in the meetings, obtained your feedback, and although we were not always in sync in our views, we articulated the positions of your representatives in system meetings as well as in the meeting of the Board of Regents. I beg the indulgence of those of you who attended the town hall meetings because you have heard many of the remarks this morning. As you are all aware, the SARS-CoV-2 virus upended higher education in 2020, catching the global academic community by surprise. It thrust universities worldwide into uncharted territory, prompting various strategies to adapt their missions to the pandemic. Like other universities, the public health crisis profoundly affected UP's operations. Nevertheless, as the country's national university, UP stays committed to fulfilling its multiple mandates as lead university in setting academic standards and initiating innovations in teaching, research, and faculty development. As graduate university, as research university, as public service university, and as regional and global university in the midst of adversity and in response to it. UP's ongoing research, public service, innovation, and technology development or technology transfer programs and projects will continue to address the critical issues for which they were created, albeit with adjustments to COVID-19. The university will remain steadfast in its role, both as partner of government, the private sector, and civil society in this time of crisis on the one hand, and as policy advocate and social critic on the other hand. Despite the pandemic, the university maintains its links to local and international university networks, like the ASEAN University Network and the Asia-Pacific Rim University Network of the region's leading research universities, keeping abreast of the experiences, strategies, and plans of other universities for dealing with the SARS-CoV-2-induced crisis in higher education. As you may know, the University of the Philippines ranks among the top 1,000 higher education institutions out of more than 20,000 in the world. It retained its rank in the 2021 Times Higher Education World University Rankings. This is significant because of the increase in the number of universities ranked this year. It increased from about 1,400 for the 2020 rankings to 1,527 for the 2021 rankings. UP has moved up consistently in its rankings since 2017. It is number 65 in Asia and in the top 5 in ASEAN, next to the National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technological University, University of Malaya, and University of Brunei. In 2020, it was very close in rank to the University of Brunei and was eclipsed mainly because of our much lower number of international students and international faculty. What has been pulling UP up, despite our comparatively limited resources, is our citations, an indicator of research influence in terms of the spread of ideas in the world. Citations refer to the average number of times a university's published works is cited globally. It is a measure of our contribution to the sum of knowledge in the world. In this respect, our score for citations is a high 86.7, down by about 0.2% from 2020. In ASEAN, our citation score is the highest, higher than the top 2 universities in the region, the National University of Singapore and the Nanyang Technological University. Consider, for instance, our citation score in the clinical, preclinical, and health disciplines. This is not known even among our colleagues. Our score of 91.9 in 2020 was higher than the University of Oxford and the US Ivy League schools like Harvard University and Johns Hopkins. Given our research expertise, UP was quick to mobilize its multidisciplinary experts in addressing multiple COVID-19 related imperatives. For example, the university has more than 200 projects focusing on the molecular biology and clinical features of the virus, clinical trials on and evaluation of treatment, such as convalescent plasma, infection control measures, development of a COVID-19 testing kit, projections in the state of transmissions based on LGU data, and municipal or city density map based on current active cases, engineering solutions such as prototype adult ventilators, disinfectants, and decontamination through different means, the development of apps like apps for more efficient case finding and monitoring, job risk calculators for the workplace, and analysis of the pandemic's socioeconomic impacts like the effects on the supply chain, among many others. On the other hand, UP's public service function is palpable in various initiatives that include PGH as COVID-19 referral center, the establishment of UP's testing centers, the Philippine Genome Center that is sequencing the genes of the virus to determine the origins of the strains that are affecting our communities. But the more important information for you this morning is how the university will deliver learning in the time of pandemic, which is akin to the way UP sustained learning in the College of Medicine in the Second World War. As you already know, classes throughout the UP system will be delivered remotely in the first semester 2020-2021, with extremely few exceptions to be approved by the CU Chancellor, subject to compliance with public health protocols. What compelled UP to go remote? Because the trajectory of the COVID-19 pandemic remains uncertain, as reflected in the outbreak of new COVID-19 cases in Asia-Pacific countries, such as Singapore, Vietnam, and Australia, that had previously controlled the spread of the virus through massive testing and contact tracing. Second, even assuming that the vaccine becomes available within the first semester of 2020-2021, the logistics of its mass production and procurement for eventual use will still result in a delay in mass immunization. Finally, conducting face-to-face classes will further raise the level of anxiety and mental health concerns among students, their families, the faculty, and staff. What is remote learning? It is a mode of education where teachers and learners do not meet in a physical classroom. Instead, teaching and learning are enabled using information and communication technologies. It covers both asynchronous or non-real-time communication between teachers and learners and synchronous or real-time communication. Asynchronous communication may be text-based, meaning basic email, FB Messenger, Viber group, etc., or use online discussion boards in different platforms like UP's learning management systems such as UVLE, Canvas in some of our UP constituent universities. Synchronous communication between teachers and learners, on the other hand, have examples like lectures, webinars, and teleconferences using such platforms as Zoom, to which UP is subscribed institutionally. Since UP students will be dispersed geographically during the first semester, and they have unequal access to computers and internet connectivity, it is important to clarify that remote learning need not be online learning. UP will be providing course packs in USBs to enable students in areas with poor connectivity to use the USBs in their computers and download materials from learning platforms whenever they're able to connect. But if this is still not possible because students either have no gadgets or access to the internet, course packs will be printed and delivered to them. That is by courier if available, through arrangements with LGUs, delivery by UP personnel if feasible. UP has also begun exploring the possibility of using television airwaves for some classes that are not as easy for students to learn independently. A course pack is a compilation of course readings and other materials that is given to students at the beginning of the semester or a term. It is intended to ensure that all students have access to the core learning resources of the core. Use of course packs is not unique to remote learning. Many faculty members teaching face-to-face prepare course packs and make these available to their students, but usually by giving the students a master copy for them to photocopy themselves. In remote learning, a course pack is essential as the primary means of delivering the course content. It is intended to support guided independent learning, which is one of two components of effective learning, the other components being interaction and dialogue. Because students will be studying on their own, for the most part, the course pack for remote learning is more comprehensive than a course pack for use in a face-to-face class. That is, the course pack for remote learning includes not only the course readings, like journal articles or book chapters, and multimedia resources, like video lectures, screencasts, simulations, but also study guides for different sets of readings and activities and assignment guides. The university is actually striving to give the course packs to students studying remotely before the term begins to enable students to plan their study time for each course, that is, when to study, how many hours to allot for each set of readings, when to participate in collaborative learning activities, how much time to allot doing an assignment, and allow the faculty, that is, the teacher handling the course, to focus on monitoring student progress, scaffolding learning as and when needed, and providing timely feedback to students who are learning remotely, not in the same physical space as the teacher. Faculty members were asked to upload their course packs in the learning management systems of the constituent universities before the start of classes on September 10. However, faculty members are preparing course packs for more than 2 classes, as well as those requiring more time to prepare their technology-dependent or enhanced learning resources will be providing students the course packs at different intervals. However, they are enjoined to provide course guides and organize their students on the first day of class, communicating with them through the most appropriate means based on the student information obtained during pre-enlistment and enrollment. Please note that copyrighted materials in your course pack that you access from your CU learning management system or you receive in a USB or printed form are intended only for your use in connection with the course that you're enrolled in. Distribution or sale of these materials constitute a breach of the Intellectual Property Code. To the final question of parents, students, and even teachers. Is remote learning necessarily inferior to face-to-face learning? Remote learning is commonly perceived to be inferior to residential learning in terms of quality. This is understandable because Philippine education has traditionally been face-to-face and predominantly lecture-based. However, studies show that guided independent study that is properly planned and implemented can be of the same quality as the usual teacher-dependent learning despite its remote delivery. In light of the pandemic, specific competencies that some professional fields require may not be fully honed when students graduate. For this reason, the university is investing in subscriptions to platforms and simulation apps. It, for instance, subscribed to a leading provider of scientific videotapes and virtual experiments. The College of Medicine has also obtained virtual dissecting tables in lieu of cadavers for the students to use. Cognizant of competencies that need to be honed even after the students graduate, the university is developing bridging programs in mid-year 2021 for students who may wish to hone competencies gained from the actual application of skills learned in face-to-face contexts. In the spirit of lifelong learning, these programs will be open to alumni, especially those whose skills courses were affected by the pandemic. For instance, students who will graduate this semester or next semester without sufficient skills in surgery because the Philippine General Hospital's Department of Surgery was temporarily closed due to COVID-19 may avail of the bridge program that the College of Medicine will develop. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic came to our awareness, UP was already planning how UP students can continue learning despite class suspensions due to natural hazards, disasters, or social and political eventualities. Anticipating many more of such suspensions in today's world, the pre-COVID-19 UP system plan entailed strategies to accelerate changes in pedagogies and assessment and provide students course packs at the start of every semester to facilitate independent learning as a value in and of itself, but most especially to make up for disruptions in the learning process, among others. For UP and other universities in the country and the world, the COVID-19 pandemic served to further catalyze an ongoing global higher education reform. Last month's meeting of the presidents of the Asia-Pacific Rim University, or APRU, the network of leading research universities in the Asia-Pacific region, of which UP is the only member from the Philippines and one of 5 member universities in ASEAN, shared strategies to address the challenges of the pandemic. The meeting affirmed the needed changes in education that have been the subject of the meetings of the APRU presidents and senior officials of these universities in the last 3 years. Changes that include flexible curricula, customized minors, the leveraging of immersive technologies, and the mix of face-to-face, virtual, immersive, and experiential coursework. Interestingly, the Chronicle of Higher Education cites the mix of delivering learning and teaching together with applying concepts through research projects and internships, and alternating between independent and collaborative teaching as the best tactics for a new, technologically savvy generation with a rather short attention span. Like most universities worldwide, UP is exerting utmost effort in laying the groundwork within severe time constraints for successful remote delivery, including the upgrade of library databases and remote access to such databases, and an enhanced student learning assistance and a large-scale kaagapay sa pag-aaral ng Scholar ng Bayan program, mobilizing the UP community, the private sector to donate computers that are needed by our students. Against the pre-COVID global changes in higher education and the COVID reality we are experiencing now, our means of coping with the extremely heavy workload is to be mindful of the positive side of our challenges. The pandemic is forcing us to begin making the paradigm shift to lifelong learning. Given the paradigm shift, we will no longer return to to a teacher-dependent, primarily face-to-face lecture-based learning. And even when we are all back on campus, our better normal will be a mix of face-to-face, virtual, immersive, and experiential learning using 21st century modes of learning that are problem-based, competence-based, and that require design thinking. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic wreaked havoc on our everyday life, we knew we had to brace ourselves for a disruptive future, brought about by a combination of factors, including climate change, the convergence of information technology, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology, robotics, and the radical transformation of work for UP's new graduates, among others. We have been painfully aware of the need for the university to step up and create an optimal learning environment for the millennials and Generation Z students under our care to become transformative leaders in the different branches of knowledge and fields of practice they will find themselves in. Until the pandemic struck, the disruptions were still abstract features of an increasingly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world of the future. However, COVID-19 shocked us into realizing that the disruptive future is here, catching us all off guard and thrusting us out of our comfort zones into an uncharted teaching and learning situation. Your teachers are doing a heroic job of preparing for this semester amidst their own personal anxieties and responsibilities at home. On the other hand, you are anxious about how you will cope with your studies in the midst of a pandemic that continues to escalate. All of us are confronted with the unknown, and much of our anxiety springs from that. Facing it and dealing with teaching and learning challenges day by day may be our only means of defining the unknown and negotiating our way through it. This semester will definitely be far from ideal. If we were still unable to predict problems that arose even under the best circumstances of a regular semester, we will definitely be unable to anticipate many more unprecedented problems as we shift to remote learning. But we will learn from these problems, find solutions to them iteratively, and build on these solutions for a better planned second semester if courses still need to be delivered remotely, and even if we can begin blending remote and face-to-face learning in that semester. Recognizing the imperfections of this semester, the university continues to suspend rules on academic standing. While this semester will enable meeting program requirements to avoid or minimize a delay in your graduation, it will not count in the computation of maximum residence. We have also reduced the total load, the full load of students from 15 to 12 units. In this challenging semester, we fervently appeal for utmost understanding and compassion, as well as courage and fortitude on the part of all the members of the university, students, faculty, staff, and administrators, as we face and conquer the unknown together. Thank you and welcome to the first semester 2020-2021.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maria Cynthia Rose Banzon Bautista, UP Vice President for Academic Affairs. The university is continually adapting, innovating, and evolving during these extraordinary times. What an exciting time to be in the University of the Philippines, the home of independent thinking, critical thinking, and forward thinking.
Yes, AVP Wendell, UP has produced 40 national artists, 39 national scientists, 2 national social scientists, 18 Senate presidents, 15 Chief Justices of the Supreme Court, and 7 presidents of the Republic. To give you a taste of husay at galing in the University of the Philippines, please enjoy this video presentation by our very own homegrown creative movers and shakers.
Kasama, naririnig mo ba? Palala ng bagong ihip ng hangin, wika niya'y ng kalaman, atin laging panyamanin.
Ang dapat na patutunguhan ng mataas na natutunan, nagbibigkis sa sambayanan, inaangat ang buhay ng bayan.
Dapat tayong magsilbi sa pangarap ng nakakarami. Dapat nating tiyaking lagi ang buhay nila'y mapapabuti. Husay at galing sa lilinangin, utak at puso ating gagamitin. Ang ating bayan paglilingkuran, isang makatarungang lipunan. Laging hahangarin at ipaglalaban natin. Dapat tayong magsilbi
Sa pangarap ng nakakarami,
Dapat nating tiyakin lagi
ang buhay nila'y mapapabuti.
husay at galing sa iyong pililinangin, utak at puso ating gagamitin. Ang ating bayan paglilingkuran, isang makatarungang lipunan. Laging hangarin at ipaglalaban natin.
Darating ang panahon,
Di na kailangang palala ng hangin.
dahil malalim nang nakabaon.
makabayan at makataong hangarin. Di namin mahal pamantasang iyan. Tayo'y tinanggal
The song Husay at Galing was written by Palanca awardee and UP alumnus Ferdinand Pisigan Harin with musical arrangement and instrumentation by Pordalab, a pop alternative band that aims to push for change through the power of music. The song was performed by Pordalab featuring Ferdy Harin, Dengay Silorio, and Adi Santos Saliva.
Utak at puso, husay at galing. These are not just empty words for the scholar ng bayan. These are our mantra, our way of life, our shared identity.
With a message to our scholar ng bayan, please give a warm welcome to the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs and Director, Office of Student Financial Assistance, Professor Richard Philip A. Gonzalo.
I'm Professor Richard Philip A. Gonzalo, the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs and the Director of the Office of Student Financial Assistance. The UP Student Affairs System, or SAS, is composed of policies and programs that provide support and other services to enrolled undergraduate and graduate students of the university. The SAS functions to support academic instruction, encourage active involvement in leadership, provide assistance to ensure students' well-being, and manage processes to ensure accountability and facilitate restorative justice. As the community transitions to remote learning, the programs under SAS must be reconfigured to respond to the changing times. While online operations facilitated transactions from homes, systems must evolve to allow the university to respond to students' needs on time. New programs are also needed to address emerging concerns to ensure continuous learning. There were 6 items considered in reinventing the UP SAS. Systems and policies must be redesigned considering that almost all UP students will be learning more independently in their homes, with limited physical interaction with student affairs personnel and their peers. The SAS support services should also adopt to the home as the primary learning environment, which may not be conducive to learning. The new programs are needed to address students' digital divide due to their location, power interruption, the quality of internet services in their area, and even the lack of appropriate gadgets. In managing our SAS programs and developing new programs, we must still address the well-being concerns of students. Our current programs must still address issues that stem from the family's social and economic circumstances. We also need to be mindful of the effect of remote learning on the mental health and well-being of our students. Our current programs must still address issues that stem from the household's social and economic circumstances. We also need to be mindful of the effect of remote learning on students' mental health and well-being. We need to develop SAS programs that will provide psychosocial support. And finally, we still need to provide venues that will allow our students to connect and express their freedoms and create mechanisms to protect students' rights even when UP students are at home. The university made adjustments to its programs that support academic instruction. Merit-based scholarship awards and other financial incentives will still remain. Our current scholarship beneficiaries will continue benefiting from allowances when they enroll, and your campus learning resource centers will still be open to provide learning assistance to students in need of supplemental academic training and tutorial services. Your student organizations will still be recognized as venues to connect to your peers and as a form of social support. Your campus will announce adjusted policies in the coming weeks to have your organizations recognized. Our counseling and guidance services are still available. Your guidance counselors would still be reached through their helplines and office emails should you need help. The university financial assistance programs, particularly your scholarship, your grants, tuition loan, student assistantships, and other donor-funded programs will still accept applications. For units that will hire student assistants and graduate assistants, They have been advised to explore work plans that will allow work-from-home arrangements to minimize face-to-face interaction. For the first semester academic year 2020-2021, most university student housing facilities will be closed. But this will give our student housing offices time to review their policies and incorporate public health and safety protocols in preparation for the opening of campuses when the pandemic subsides. As the community transitions to remote learning, the university developed 4 SAS programs to be rolled out in the first semester academic year 2020-2021. The university developed the Student Learning Assistance System to expand the support to financially challenged students. The SLAS is an expansion of the Student Financial Assistance Online. UP designed the SFA Online in 2014 to accept applications for tuition subsidy and allowance. Beginning on September 7, 2020, UP students can now apply directly for financial support and learning assistance in the SLAS online portal. The expanded system will gather information on students' financial capacity as well as their connectivity situation and connectivity options and specific learning assistance requirements in this academic year. This will help the university determine the type of learning assistance needed by our students to allow them to continue studying in the university. With the SLAS Online, undergraduate applicants, including students from law and medicine, who are from low-income households shall receive internet connection subsidy worth 1,500 pesos a month through a telco of their choice this academic year. Based on their updated application information, applicants from the most vulnerable households shall be offered gadgets on top of their internet connectivity subsidy. To expand the support to financially challenged students, UP launched the Kaagapay sa Pag-aaral ng Scholar ng Bayan program. The Kaagapay program has mobilized the private sector to donate devices to be made available to those who applied for learning assistance through SLAS Online. To address graduate students in need of financial assistance, the Office of Student Financial Assistance have coordinated with the scholarship and financial assistance units of the different campuses to organize information on these assistance programs. This information will be available to you through the respective websites of the scholarship offices where you are enrolled in the first semester academic year 2020-2021. In response to the effect of the pandemic on the well-being of students, the university is organizing the UP Student Mental Health and Wellness Network to facilitate the delivery and access to needed mental health and psychosocial support services. The network aims to increase the availability of mental health service providers in the different campuses who can provide psychosocial support and services for students and other university stakeholders and facilitate referral for treatment and other interventions. To build the network, your student affairs units will provide information on accredited organizations and individuals in your campuses that offer mental health and psychosocial support services. In the coming months, a harmonized referral process will be set up to facilitate referrals within the campus and across the constituent universities. In support of academic instruction in remote learning contexts, support groups composed of peers will play critical roles. The university will recognize peer learning groups composed of UP students and managed by faculty group facilitators. Students may join recognized PLGs for tutorial services and other support sessions for peer counseling and other academic activities. The PLGs shall form networks across the UP system to link them with other support and interest groups in the university. The PLG program is envisioned to address students' concerns in self-paced learning context and contribute to the overall mental health and well-being by enjoining students to be active agents in coping activities. The university has several support programs available, but these are difficult to reach when students are at home. Geographical distance and digital divide remain a barrier to the delivery of student services. To address this, Student Help Desk will be organized in the first semester to facilitate referral to the offices and other services that students would need to address their issues. The Help Desk is a one-stop center where students can seek advice on academic matters, emergency concerns, and even legal concerns, even when they are at home. By providing a triage system, the Student Help Desk can help address concerns on where to seek help, how to apply for financial aid, and how to apply for other learning support. The Help Desk shall serve as a ready resource of expertise and other information for referral to the appropriate student affairs units, UP offices, and other groups to directly assist the students in need. The proposed student affairs system programs and adjustments to the student services of the university are expected to be rolled out before the end of the first semester. We are implementing these changes together with the offices of student affairs and the units supervised by the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs of your campuses. Our development of these programs is iterative to ensure we learn from emerging issues and we update our activities to better respond to students' concerns in this pandemic.
Thank you very much, Professor Richard Gonzalo. Our scholars ng bayan may belong to different campuses, but they all bear the same Tatak UP. Like the iconic UP symbol, the oblation, our ISCO and ISCA are offerings to the nation.
You know, the ISCO and ISCA heeds the call to serve our nation. They understand because we are scholars ng bayan. We are here to provide solutions to the pressing problems in our country. With a message for our scholar ng bayan, may we call on our student regent, Honorable John Isaac B. Punsalan, for a few words.
Pagbati sa ating lahat, malugod nating sinasalubong at wini-welcome ang ating mga scholar ng bayan sa panibagong pang-akademikong taon dito sa Universidad ng Pilipinas. Makasaysayan ng taon na ito, hindi lang dahil nasa kalagitnaan tayo ng pandemya, kundi dahil din pinapakita ng sitwasyon na ito kung gaano tayo kahanda upang samahan ng isa't isa para protektahan ng ating karapatan sa edukasyon at ialay ang ating kahusayan at talino sa ating mga kababayan. Bagamat hindi ito ang inaasahan nating forma ng pagkikita, makakaasa kayo na hinihintay kayo ng ating mga kapwa mag-aaral at ng ating universidad upang makapagbahagi ng mga aral, alaala at mga laban. Sana sa ating susunod ng pagkikita ay sama-sama nating isigaw ang UP Fight sa ating mga games, mag-food trip sa mga sikat na kainan sa ating mga campuses, mag-aral at tumambay kasama ang ating orgmates at classmates, at sumama sa lansangan para ipaglaban ang ating mga karapatan. Sana ay matandaan natin ang ating papel bilang mga tunay na scholar ng bayan na sinisimbolo ng UP Oblation. Lalong-lalo na dahil maraming pa rin tayong kinakaharap. Patuloy na tumataas ang mga kaso ng COVID-19 kasabay ng paglaganap ng mga kaso ng inhustisya at paglabag sa karapatang pantao. Marami tayong kailangan ipaglaban at protektahan. Ang ating kalusugan, ang edukasyon na aksesible sa lahat, ang ating academic freedom, ang ating kalayaan na malaman at makialam, ang ating boses na kailanman ay hindi mananahimik. Naway makita pa rin ninyo na may pag-asa sa ating mga sarili, sa ating mga kapwa mag-aaral, sa ating komunidad bilang isang UP. Magsilbing liwanag sa gitna ng kadiliman. Excited na kaming makasama kayo, kapwa ISCO at ISCA. Manatiling ligtas, manatiling palaban. Mabuhay ang pag-asa ng bayan.
Thank you very much for your very stimulating message, Student Regent, Honorable John Isaac B. Punsalan. The Student Regent is the highest representative of the student body in the UP Board of Regents.
To formally close the program, may we call on the Vice President for Public Affairs, Dr. Elena E. Pernia.
Dear Iskos and Iskas, we are all beginning this academic year with uncertainty and unease. In March, our lives were upended by the coronavirus. At that time, we took a pause, a sudden pause, from almost all things face to face. At that time, there were still many of us hoping and looking forward to a return to normal by the time the new academic year would kick in. But here we are now, with an extraordinary beginning of the school year. I am proud to be part of an academic community that has taken bold strides and shown remarkable agility to resume our classes as a way to shape a new reality that is still Tatak UP. This, even in the midst of difficulties, hesitations, and unease. My dear Iskos and Iskas and colleagues in the university, we have been called to be creative and confident, patient and understanding, but most of all, committed to do our best in addressing educational challenges. Para sa ating mga proud Iskot Iska, ang pariralang para sa bayan ay hindi lamang mga salitang walang saysay, kundi isang gabay sa pamumuhay. Tayo ay magsama-sama, magtulong-tulong, mag-ambag-ambag, walang iwanan, kaagapay ako ng UP. Isang magandang umaga sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much for your heartfelt message, Vice President for Public Affairs Elena E. Pernia. Again, thank you to everyone for spending this very first UP system-wide opening of academic year 2020-2021 online welcome ceremony. Mabuhay ang pag-asa ng bayan, mabuhay ang iskolar ng bayan, mabuhay ang Universidad ng Pilipinas.
You